Well, inclusion is basically being entitled to live your life as any other individual does in society. So for a child with autism, inclusion means practicing his or her own rights to access early intervention services. We're talking about this, nursery, schooling, the right to go to the park, the right to enjoy activities within their own family, the right to have friends, the right to try at least and have friends, and doing every single effort to keep them included within their own family, within their own community and society.
What is the importance of inclusion in the lives of individuals with autism?
Well, it's very important, and if you ask them, they'll tell you it made me, if I'm recalling many of the students I worked with, some of them would tell you I accessed school. Some of them would tell you inclusion meant that I had my friends. Others would tell you inclusion meant that I could access services. Ask their parents, they would tell you we were given the guidance, the support also at early onset ages of when they were babies. We were given information, we were given support and guidance to manage all the stakeholders intervening with my child. Other parents would tell you inclusion and the early intervention were very important for my child because it made him develop, and at the same time it decreased the symptoms and the severity of symptoms. For example, if a child never used to talk, maybe he would say some words or express himself or herself using pictures, but he was able to access some kind of communication or language. Other children have become students in schools, so it enabled them to access schooling, to read and write, literacy, numeracy, access also medical services as well. And it's important, the benefits as well, to be happy, the well-being of a child, the well-being of a family. These are very important milestones to achieve, and these are rights, basically.
How can inclusion be beneficial in our society?
Well, I wouldn't imagine society without inclusion. We're all there in society, right? We're all different in society. You have the tall ones, the short ones, you have people from different nationalities, you have people from different abilities, you have people from different walks of life, and all of them live side by side. So inclusion is society, and this is the norm.
How can inclusion be beneficial for individuals with ASD?
Well, inclusion doesn't differ across the categories of any individual or the categories they have been labeled. In which they have been labeled. So for a child with ASD, it's the same as any other child. So inclusion would enable them to enjoy their community, their life, their neighborhood, their families, their school, the services, the medical services, the psychological or rehabilitation services. And for a child with ASD, a little bit more maybe, giving them more exposure to become more sociable, or to learn skills to become more sociable. But also it's not only how inclusion benefits a child with autism, it's also inclusion, how does it benefit peers and teachers and other people who may have not any disorder, who may not have any disorder, but who benefit from a child with ASD, with autism. So this community learns as well how to cherish diversity, how to live in a diverse society, how to adapt and adjust to a child's needs, and how to accept and be more tolerant. And then when you accept and be more tolerant, the adaptation of materials, of tool, of the environment becomes easier. So inclusion is both ways really. It's not only beneficial for a child, it's beneficial for also all children and all the society. It's not only for children with autism, it's the society who learns a lot from looking at diversity and adapting to diversity and welcoming people who have diverse needs.
Are many schools in Lebanon inclusive?
Well, we have schools in Lebanon that are inclusive. Now, the number differs, and across the different situation the country is going through, also makes the number change nowadays. We're going through lots of challenges, financial, economical, social, etc. So this has made it more difficult for schools to sustain their services and to sustain also the staff, the specialized people. So this has impacted on the number of schools being inclusive. But yes, there were schools being inclusive, whether private or public, and now we still have schools that are inclusive and working hard. And through the pandemic, they have also worked hard on adapting curriculum, adapting the contents, and adapting the medium of communication with parents and students. So some students were able to follow through and others were not able. We all know that sometimes they cannot follow exclusively online. So they need the face-to-face, they need the experimental situation, the sensory situations. So this has impacted on how many schools are inclusive of, or how many of their programs remained inclusive throughout the pandemic and the current challenges we have.
How well trained are teachers in schools or business owners or companies or society to implement an inclusive environment?
Okay, so well, this differs actually, and it all depends on the situations that these companies or these employers or these environments got to be exposed to children or to adults or adolescents who have ASD. But I would like to say that many have become informed thanks to the awareness services and awareness endeavors that have been undertaken by parents, advocacy groups, schools, media, etc. So they've all been aware of the condition of ASD and other conditions as well. Many have grown in information, but also acceptance and tolerating more the presence and opening the doors of their companies or societies. Now, how much they are skilled or trained, it really, we have disparity here. Some are well trained because they have been exposed, they have had specialists training them, and others have not been trained, but they are genuinely opening their doors, welcoming young employees with autism, and then learning, if you want, as we go.
If you were to describe inclusion in one sentence, what would it be?
Well, for me, I think inclusion is the right to live your life the way anyone lives it in the community, and it's the right to belong.